Welcome back for another episode of F It Up. I'm your host, Ethne Andre, and I'm joined here today with Mr. Interception, the Orlando native, JC Carlies. Woo! Thank you, JC, so much for being here today.
No, I appreciate you for having me.
Okay. You've been so busy. You've been traveling because if you don't know, he has been going through the NFL draft process, which involves traveling, training, and so forth. And it's just a lot. But before we go into that, I want to know about how it all started because you were a 3-star recruit in Orlando, Florida, and you were also a track star at your high school, 4x1. So I don't know how you got into football. Like, tell me about that.
Growing up, my parents always had me in sports. Florida just being an athletic state in general, it's a lot of sports that can be played down there. So, grew up running track, playing basketball and football. So, those pretty much the main three I always played growing up. But as I kind of got older, I kind of grew out of basketball and then just focused really more on football and track. But I always knew football was more my primary. So, going into high school, freshman year played freshman and JV football. Not really getting a lot of attention there. So, my sophomore year, transferred to West Orange because I went to Olympia my freshman year. And then from that point on, I ran track and played football the last 3 years there. Like you said, I played receiver in high school, though, so I didn't really play defense till I got to college. But it was a fun experience, though, you know. I always thought I'd be a receiver growing up, but things changed as time go on. Started getting offers and stuff towards my junior year for receiver. Got schools like Miami, Pitt, Cincinnati, UCF, certain schools like that on my radar. So that kind of opened me up a little bit more to the process and how things are going to be as I grow older. So as I got there, Mizzou came on towards kind of the closer end of my senior year, and they offered me right before I got into my senior year in the summer. But they were my only defensive offer that I had, so they wanted to see me on defense. So they were actually my only defensive offer and actually my only SEC offer as well. So I took that as an opportunity to kind of just showcase who I am and my mentality in terms of learning a new position, but also wanting to be in the SEC as well because I feel like that's where I belong. Just growing up, that's the most football that I would watch in college, mostly SEC games and stuff like that. So I took that opportunity to really do what I wanted to do with it, and my family was a great support system with it, giving me the motivation I needed heading into college, and I decided to leave the track life behind me, unfortunately. But don't get it twisted, though.
I don't think you could do nothing on the track with me.
That's what a lot of people say. That's what a lot of people say. I'm state runner up in long jump. Y'all can go check that if y'all want to, but it's
What's
whatever.
your record,
It's
PR?
whatever. I don't even know.
Oh, okay. So let's not.
Just know it's state runner up though. Y'all can go check that if y'all need to. It's state runner up.
So that's actually crazy. I didn't know you were a wide receiver before you were the position you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the process of. Is it the same with the recruitment in high school? How colleges came at you? Is it the same kind of with like now? Is it like the same process?
In a way, yeah. Because in terms of it's kind of like now I kind of go out to different teams. Certain teams kind of can invite you to their facilities and stuff like that to kind of get a better feel for you outside of like combine interviews and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same thing. It's almost like you kind of take some official visits. You know what I mean? The NFL teams, but. In high school, it's kind of like you're kind of learning more about how it kind of all goes in terms of that. So, you know, once you start to get offers, then coaches to kind of start to contact you in a way. So now you're just kind of starting to learn more how to move through the process. But in this one, I feel like it's kind of like everybody's kind of used to how this works because it's like you went through high school already. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like just a more advanced and kind of more serious business in a way because, you know, like this is more of, you know, teams are going to pay you money to do what you need to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, me going through high school, you know, NIL wasn't a thing in college yet. Mm-hmm. So the money part, people, you know, getting paid for different colleges and stuff like that wasn't really going around yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, but the NFL is more just like, this is your job, this is serious. So it's like, you know, people are paying you millions of dollars to come play for them. So it's like they really want to see how you are, how you act, how smart you are in terms of learning their new schemes and stuff like that. But they have a lot of common similarities in them, though.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the transition when you got here and when you weren't going to be a wide receiver. Like, how did you go about that? Like, you had to take a big leap of faith to be like, all right, I'm going to come here, move all the way to Missouri from Florida in a position I never, ever played before. Like, that's a leap of faith. You had to trust God in that.
Yeah, no, most definitely. God's the highest power, and always He runs my household, most definitely. Parents always kept me in church growing up. Still believe in Him to this day.
Church boy, okay.
Of course. But nah, just the whole thing with that was, like I said, when I talked to my parents about it, talked to some of my close relatives and stuff like that, my old coaches, and they gave me all the motivation I needed. When I got here, I came here also with my former teammate who used to go here, Tyler Jones, as well. We both came here together. But he was recruited for DB. He played DB already. So going here, being with him, came in with my roommate as well, Ennis Ratestar. We all came in together. We were pretty much with each other every day from that point on. So it was like they kind of just helped me, you know what I'm saying, get comfortable with certain things like that over the summer, like doing workout drills and stuff like that. Also having like guys like Martez Manuel and Jelani Williams who was here. They kind of took us under their wings as well with doing certain workouts, learning the playbook over the summer and stuff. You know, they didn't have to do none of that. You know what I mean? And especially with me as well, it was like I'm learning the whole different side of the ball. So it's like learning all that stuff. I took it real serious because it's like I want to be able to play here. I want to be able to help this team out. So it's like I just took everything that they did, and I thank them for it all the time because it's like, you know, without them, I feel like I really wouldn't be where I am right now.
I love that. How was it when because you came here for football, that's obviously the main goal, but how was it outside when you saw the different type of culture that Missouri is? Because when I came here from New York, I was like, oh, and I'm not even from the city. I'm from upstate New York, and I already saw the different type of vibe. So how were you like transitioning that?
It was different. You know, Florida has all cultures really. You know, it has every single type of person you could think of. So you know, you kind of just get used to seeing everybody. But you know, it is different up here. You know, weather's different up here, most definitely compared to back home. My first time seeing snow was here, so it was like just coming up here trying to adapt to all that. You know, anytime it was cold, I tried to stay in the house as much as possible. I didn't really try to come outside like that. But nah, it was fun though. But I felt like it was great that I had a lot of guys who were kind of from my area as well, who like weren't really used to it. So we all just kind of gelled together. And we were like, bro, we got to get through this some way. So we all just kind of went out there together and just kind of fought through all the, you know, the little cold weather and stuff like that. But people as well though, you know, this is obviously Columbia's more of a college town, so it's like I wasn't really used to that as well. Kind of a close knit group in the area and stuff like that. I'm used to more spread out, you know, being able to drive different places and stuff. But Columbia, all the fans and you know they really care about this university really. So you know anytime you're out, you know what I mean, it doesn't matter if you're freshmen all the way to seniors. You know they show love to you regardless. They can kind of point you out whether you know you play sports or you know if you go here or not. So you know they love to have conversations with you. And like I said, it's kind of like a close knit family here. You know, Columbia kind of everybody cares for each other and they care for the university and they take it serious.
Mm-hmm. They are super, super, super duper loving. It makes it worth it when you're not from here. Like it's like okay, they mess with us for real. The past 2 seasons have been great for you, right? Mm-hmm. Like you've been having a pretty stellar. Yeah. Last year you had like 81 tackles. Mm-hmm. This year I have your stats. This year you had 64 tackles with 38 solo stops. And then you guys also were Cotton Bowl champs. So you guys had a stellar season this year. Yeah. Tell me about that process. Oh, wait, actually, before we start that. When you started this season, you missed the first game due to an injury. Yeah. So I want to know where your head was at when that happened. Were you like, am I going to miss the whole season? Like, tell me about that process.
Yeah, so unfortunately I strained my hamstring in fall camp. The first scrimmage we had, so it was kind of like the first week of August, the end of the first week.
Wait, what grade was it?
2. It was 2. So when it happened, I was kind of nervous because I knew it was a feeling I never had before. Because blessed to never really be hurt in college. So that was my first game I ever missed. But when it first happened, I didn't really know how to react to it. I just knew something wasn't really right because I had never really gotten an injury like that before. So we went in and they were kind of figuring out what was going on with me at first. And I was kind of just sitting there. I was calm, but I was like, in my head, I was kind of like, I don't really know what they're going to say. I don't know what's going on. Cause I just know like something's not right with my hamstring. So when they came back to let me know what it was going to be, they kind of broke it to me in a weird way. They kind of was like, yeah, so we don't know how long it's really going to be right now, but you're looking at like a grade 2 strained hamstring. So it was like, okay. It was like, what's the timeline on it though? You know, so it was like, because I don't want to miss any type of football game, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They said the goal is to have me back by the first game, but we don't know how it's going to look so far. Mm-hmm. So when they told me at least the goal was to have me back by the first game, I knew it wasn't going to be as drastic as I maybe thought it might have been. But I really just still didn't want to miss any games this season. You know, I wanted to be out there with my teammates for the whole season. But going through that process, you know, I went in there every day after that, rehab, did stuff like that. But that opened me up to the really training room in general because I wasn't really a training room person. Like I wasn't really a guy who went into the training room a lot for treatment and stuff like that. Because a lot of stuff that would happen with me would just be like, like stingers and nicks and stuff like that. So I wasn't really going in the training room for stuff like that.
You lucky, man.
I wasn't really going in there like that. It wasn't really a feeling for me to really just go in and get treatment for stuff. I wasn't needling, cupping, doing none of that. That wasn't me. But
you built different.
During that whole process though, it was like I had to really open my mind up to do all that stuff. Like I got needled for the first time, got cut for the first time. It was all that stuff that I felt like needed to happen to open my eyes up to like you really got to take care of your body in a lot of different ways. But during that though, it just kind of helped me just really take care of my body in the way that I needed to, and take things slow. But I will say I also for the first time did BFR, and I will never do that again. I don't care what nobody says. I'm never doing that again. I don't care what I heard.
The worst thing because I too.
I'm not doing it again.
Because it's that serious for real. It's terrible, y'all. Because I also tore my hamstring and I had to do BFR every day. Basically, it's like a wrap that you put on your hamstring. And it sucks the living life out of you. Like, you just cannot move. You can't walk. And I had to use two because both of them.
Oh, yeah. No, you're different. I'm not different. No, you're different. I only did one. I'm not. No.
I had to use two, and you just can't move. Like, you can't think. I got heat flashes. Like, terrible.
No, I'm not. Yeah. So that opened me up to a lot of the workouts and different things that I need to do. And that just also let me know about BFRs and, like, how I'm never moving towards that again. Anything I need to do, anything I hurt. So I'm going to stay away from those as much as possible. But, going through that process, I took it serious because it was like, this is like also in mind, like this is my senior year, you know what I mean? I wasn't really looking to come back again for my fifth, so it was like I just really wanted to make sure I took this serious and try to get back as fast as possible in a smart way though. I didn't want to rush anything, but I didn't want to prolong it and try to be nervous about certain things either though. So I just kind of found my middle ground with it, talking with my parents, talking with my roommates, talking with Ennis, Johnny, just talking to them all the time. They just kind of kept my head up on it as well. So I was blessed to be able to kind of work my way back to the first game, but that weekend of practice, that was my first practice back, and they had me do some running drills to kind of see where my hamstring really was, so I had to do some open sprints. I was able to sprint full speed, but they said it was a me decision to determine whether I felt like I could play or not. So when we did the open sprints, I was able to sprint full speed, but I felt it tightening up when I was running. So I told them, I said I'm able to run, but I said I won't be able to run for a long time if I do this and I play in this game. So I think I'm going to sit this one out. And it hurt me to say that, but it was the smartest decision for me to do at that time, you know what I mean? Because it was like if I came out there and I tried to play in the first game, letting my pride take over, who knows what would have happened. So it's like, just making that decision was tough, but it was the best one for the team and for myself as well. And it just gave other people. I also just gave other people a chance to play as well. You know what I mean? Like it gave Marvin Burks a chance to play. He was a freshman. It gave him a chance to play in his first game for his college career, and I was happy to see that. I was cheering him on the sideline, giving him advice before the game, just giving a lot of the younger guys a chance to play, a lot of rotation going. And I was just there to cheer him on, and it was blessed to be there.
I see you've been supporting your little teammates with that probate this weekend. We had some Kappas and some Omegas. This weekend. I'm not sure everyone who did it, but I saw you out there supporting. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're such a nice man to do that.
Yeah, it was good to be out there seeing all those guys. It takes a lot to go through. Some of those probates and stuff like that. It's a lot of pressure on a lot of those guys, but I was glad that they all fought through it and they all did what they had to do for it.
Would you ever join one?
If I would have done it, I'd have did it in college, but I'm gone now, so it's, nah.
You gone now? Oh
yeah,
my God, they just left.
I'm gone now. I'm gone now. I ain't a student no more. I'm gone, man. I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Going back to the injury and your mental health about that process. I know you said you talked to your friends and you just prayed a lot, but how did you get rid of like those negative thoughts? Like, because they happen like naturally. There's be like, damn, like. For me, I would have been like, oh man, I'm missing the first game. I'm gonna miss all of them. You just get in a tunnel. How did you avoid that?
Kind of going through it at first. I kind of was in that kind of area where I was like, I'm probably gonna miss a lot of games, and it's probably gonna affect, like maybe draft stock, stuff like that. Not being able to have more film because that's what I came back for. Because I was debating at the end of my junior year if I should leave or not. So I made that decision towards the end of winter break and let the coach know I'll come back for my senior. So it was like that kind of all went through my head as well. Like, man, I came back and I just got injured before my first game, So it was like damn, like, so if I'd have left, would I be injured? Stuff like that. That kind of went through my head in the beginning, but it was like, I just trust the process, you know what I mean? Prayed, talked to God a lot. Like I said, talked to my roommates. But a lot of the stuff I realized, like, I had to do, like, you just really have to fight a lot of that stuff off, like, mentally. Like, I wasn't really a guy who kind of had, like, well, I'm not really a guy in general who kind of has, like, a lot of, like, mental health issues, I would say, or stuff like that. It kind of, bothers my mental a lot. But just going through that process, stuff like that can get to you in a way, you know what I mean, depending on who you are, just, the way you deal with things. But I just felt like I just kind of told myself, like, it's stuff you got to be able to push away, you know what I mean? Like, it's just stuff you got to keep out of your head in certain situations. And this is one of them. Like, you can't think too far down the road in terms of a negative way. If you're going to think far down the road, think positive, you know what I mean? So, like, you just got to think of stuff like, if my hamstrings hurt down the road, like, will I be able to play? You can't think stuff like that. You got to think, man, I'm going to be back to be able to play in terms of going on throughout the season and stuff like that. Like, you can't have that negative thoughts in your head. So I feel like fighting that off kind of earlier in those stages kind of helped me along the way of training. It helped me think really more about getting back faster in terms of worrying about what's going to happen longer. So I feel like that helped me a lot, really.
I feel like that's a Florida thing. I feel like Florida people, they just be like, their minds are just like, they be all mentally ill, but in a different type of way. Like, y'all just different. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
different. We'll take different as a positive way to look at
like
it.
it's good that they're like, but they're just different.
We the best people in the country though. So it's like,
oh yeah, you did say
we the best people in the country.
You said your opening statement. You said Florida got the best athletes.
Correct.
Texas.
I didn't. What
Texas?
about them? Nice, cool.
Texas.
Nice, cool. What about them? That's nice. What about them?
They got better athletes.
Stop. How you gonna defend a state that ain't even yours? Like, that's first off. What are we doing? You're not even from the state. What are we doing?
I know that they got
that's
better
crazy.
athletes.
How you know that?
Wasn't it? It was on a poll or something.
How you know? What poll? If you don't talk about my sport, because if you want to talk about my sport,
I found this somewhere.
Florida be having the most.
And then New York right there too.
Stop,
but I know it probably go Texas,
stop.
New
You
York,
started wrong.
Wisconsin.
Wow.
Montana.
Whoa, wait.
And then Florida.
Wait, whoa,
yeah.
Time out. I'm not. That's like some stuff that's understood don't need to be explained. And I feel like that was one of them because I don't know where we just got a couple of them states from. That's crazy. Because the South in general is the best, but then Florida is running everything. So it's like it don't make everything. The South is the best. We're just gonna establish that. That's cool cut, clear in the water. Okay. There ain't nothing to really discuss or talk about. But as far as like the best South state though, like you got to go to the most southern state on the map, like
the one that's lower down.
Come on, bro. Like,
actually, I really can't be hating on Florida because I got hella family in Florida, and you know that. You know one of my cousins, which is so crazy. He went to school with my cousins.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that was crazy. Now that caught me off guard.
Isn't that insane?
That caught me off guard.
That's so. The world is so small, but so big, but so small. So I do have a lot of cousins in Florida, so that's why I could make fun of them.
the best state at the end of the day.
Because I'm probably gonna move there eventually. So I'm just talking crap though.
See?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm blinded. And I say blinded by that chain you got on. Like I can't even.
We're not. No.
I can't even see straight. It's crazy. I'm assuming. I don't know, but NIL we talked about it a little bit before. Right. It has been a major impact, especially for football across the country, especially here in Missouri. I would love to know your thoughts about the process of NIL and how you were when you first got like your NIL deal. Like, ooh, I'm making money.
NIL. So when I got here my freshman year in 2020, that summer is kind of when it got approved. So that was like our first time really hearing about it and how it was really gonna start working. But I wouldn't say a lot of like the bigger stuff and like the craziest stuff didn't really start to kind of happen till like these back half like 2 years. Like so like 2020 my freshman year, it was like NIL just started, but it was like it wasn't like going around really as crazy. My sophomore year kind of jumped up a little bit more, but I say these back 2 years, like my junior, my senior years, where you kind of just start to see like NIL start to evolve in a way kind of around the whole country in terms of sports in general. And so NIL, I felt like NIL was the right thing to do. To some extent, because, we are athletes, and, a lot of people don't know what we have to go through a lot of times, you know what I mean? I go back home a lot, I talk to a lot of my homeboys, a lot of people, I see a lot of people, they tell me, man, like, man, you up there, man, at SEC school, I know it's great up there, man. It's great, but it's like, it's a price you're paying to be up here, you know what I mean? Like, you working out certain times of the morning, you going to sleep at certain times of the night. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff you got to go through, man, with school involved as well, you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't know a lot of stuff that we got to go through to really get why we want NIL, why we fought so hard for NIL to really be here, you know what I mean? Like, we felt like we deserved it with all the stuff that we going through, you know what I mean? So in terms of NIL really coming here, NIL was a great process for us, I felt like, to a certain extent, though, but you know, because now you're starting to see a lot of deals with people just getting, you know what I mean, crazy amounts of money, man. But, you know, you know, that's what came with it. You know what I mean? Like, we felt like we need to be paid, but, you know, there's no restriction on it. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're going to see guys that's getting a certain amount of money, XYZ amount of money. It's like you can't really do nothing about it, man. That's what we wanted at the end of the day, you know? So it's like guys that are getting it, man, it's all blessings to them. You know what I mean? They probably deserved it in a way that no one knows. So, a lot of guys getting that, man, that's on them, man. I'm proud of them, you know what I mean? But I'm just glad athletes are getting what they deserve in terms of putting in a lot of hard work, doing a lot of hard things, but we just getting rewards from it that we need. But NIL for me, NIL is a great process for me as well, you know. I started to get it towards my sophomore years and on. But, you know, NIL really with us, it was a smooth transition, you know. People were starting to get money. People weren't really looking at it in a bad way. Everybody was happy about it, you know, and it was just a thing that we all felt like we needed. So everybody here was cool with everybody getting NIL. Everybody was getting their money's worth. So it was like, you know, everybody smiling, everybody happy. You know what I mean? So we just everybody, at the end of the day, athletes just want money. So
right. Hello.
everybody was just really happy about getting their money in the first place. So
do you think it's influencing a lot of upcoming football players? Not even upcoming, like transfers now. People are leaving schools to go to a different school to get more money because there's. Tell me about that. Like, what do you think about that? Because that leaves no stability.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared with that. That's why I say, like, NIL is good to a certain extent. Because I feel like in terms of, like, high school now, it's like they're looking at it in a way to just get money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just terms of, I'm scared some guys are now just going to be focused on what school can give me the most money in terms of what school can give me the best opportunity to play football. I feel like that's what a lot of guys might end up starting to lean towards at the end of the day. Where it's like, you know, when we were being recruited throughout high school, for us, it was more so of I'm trying to play somewhere, you know what I mean? But now it's like when you see guys getting certain deals, getting certain money amounts and stuff like that, now I feel like maybe guys that are coming into high school now or coming into that recruiting process in high school, they can look at it as a way as like, man, they're not giving me a certain amount of money, I'm not going. But, you know, it could mess around and actually be the best opportunity for you to go out there and showcase your skills, though. Because you can go out here and get all this money at a certain school, but you're not even going to be able to play till your senior year at college. You know what I mean? So it's like certain stuff like that, they got to really, I hope younger guys and just really understand like what that really comes with that, you know what I mean? So it's like when you seeing all this stuff and you seeing all that going on, you can't let that affect you in your mindset of what you really had before you even saw NIL really going. You know, because a lot of these guys that are seeing NIL now, who are in high school, they was like elementary when we were going through this recruiting process, and it was a regular recruiting process. So they probably, you know, being at the younger stages, they didn't really think of it like that. But now it's like, now that, you know, being younger minded and stuff like that, being teenagers, you know, money is money, you know what I mean? So it's like it can influence you very easily. So it's like in terms of that, I just want a lot of young guys to really understand, like, make sure you're going somewhere that's making you happy just because it's a place that make you happy. Don't go to it just because of a money situation. But I can't say that as well, though, because some people might be in certain situations that people don't know about as well. Exactly. So some people could be taking it in terms of a way that, oh, I need the money, you know what I'm saying, to help my family out or something like that. When it's like, that's very understandable, you know what I'm saying? I can't knock you for nothing you're doing with that. That's your family. Help them out. But it's like for other guys who I just feel like maybe might be doing it just because it looks cool on paper, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, go somewhere where you can showcase your skills. The money going to come regardless.
Hello.
No matter where you at, the money going to come regardless of where you at. And people going to see it regardless of where you at. So, I mean, if you're in a certain situation and you playing on the team and maybe that team not the best, but you showcasing your skills, it's all right, though. You know what I mean? Because maybe then NIL could come through for somebody who sees you playing. Maybe you could go and transfer portal in for something like that. But at least just go somewhere at first where you feel like you can just showcase your ability first. The money going to come regardless because, as you know, NIL is open now. So it's like the money going to come. It's going to come from any and certain all places. So it's like I just want really younger guys to really understand. College guys too, though, you know what I mean? Just make sure you somewhere that you feel comfortable that you can play at. Like, don't just go somewhere because they're going to pay you money, but you're going to sit there and be upset when you're not playing, though. Because at a certain day, it's like, yeah, you can get a certain amount of money for a certain amount of years, but at some point you're going to be realizing, bro, I'm not playing, though. Like, I'm not playing at all. I'm behind everybody, whoop the whoop, all this other stuff. But it's like you chose that decision because you wanted to go with money. You ain't want to go the route that was going to like set you up to really get money later on. Like you went for the one that's gonna put you with money situations now.
Fast.
So it's like I just want a lot of young guys to understand, man. Just go somewhere that you feel comfortable at to play football, not for money wise.
I think it filter out the people who love the sport
Yeah.
and then people who just want the money, fame, and everything else that comes with it.
100%.
People who always love it, they're always gonna go forward.
100%.
Yeah.
You can see the difference with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Just depending on who you know, you can see the difference with some guys who love money, with some guys who just love football. You know what I mean? But if we can get guys who just do both to a certain extent, man, it'll work out for everybody for real.
How, with all the, I don't know your personal business, but like, how do you go about like someone who doesn't, to make sure the next upcoming people, they don't spend all their money? Like, what would be the smartest way that you would give them, like the best advice you would give them?
For one, with me, in terms of money wise and stuff like that, kind of when I started to get like NIL, certain deals and stuff like that, I talk with my parents a lot. You know what I mean? Trust them a lot. So, you know, like with certain money situations, you know, hey, maybe I can put this in you guys' stuff, maybe so I'm not touching with it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, or just putting it in my savings, and when I put it in there, not touching it. You know, just literally leaving it in there. I'm not touching it for nothing. Certain things like that, I'm not leaving it and stuff like that. But I say for younger kids, if you have somebody you could trust, you can start talking to people early. You know what I mean? Like you're never too young to try to start setting up your life for future planning. So in terms of stuff like that, if you have family you could trust, if you have your parents or somebody that's close to you that you can really trust with stuff like that, I mean, you can, whichever way you want to do it, if you get the money in cash, if you get the money electronically wired or stuff like that, it's like you can maybe give it to them. They could have it somewhere in a safe. Y'all could set up a safe bank account or something with a different bank that maybe y'all don't have. Because for me, I'm Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo not here.
Period.
So you know what I mean? So it's like, setting up a different bank here, just, keep certain money in and stuff like that. But I would say for sure, just if you have a safe person or some safe parents, anything like that, just talk to them about it first. You know what I mean? Because you're never too young to really just start setting up your money financially to be in a better place. Because a lot of kids, when they start to get money, they're gonna spend it. You know what I mean? Like that's just it is what it is. Kids want certain things, teenagers want certain things. So it's like, in terms of just keeping your money safe, where you're not spending it doing stuff like that, I would say just make sure you got somebody safe that you can talk to, that can guide you in a certain way, and they can get you tied into the right people, to where now you don't have all these money problems, or you're not spending your money fast as a young kid.
That was great financial advice from JC.
For sure, man.
Growing up, who was your favorite football player?
So I got my favorite football player of all time, Deion Sanders, from Florida, actually. My top 5 really all from Florida, really.
Okay.
So, it's just kind of how it
was that on purpose?
goes. No, it's not on purpose. It's just kind of like a coincidence, actually. It's just more like you got Deion Sanders, I say Ray Lewis, Crib, Sean Taylor, Crib, Chris Johnson, Crib, Orlando, Florida, actually.
Specific.
Ed Reed went to Miami. He's not from the Crib, though, but he went to Miami. So, any ties in, all ties into the Crib, though. But, yeah, that's it. Deion Sanders, my favorite player of all time, though.
What was your favorite team to watch?
Growing up, the Ravens.
Why? They're not in Florida.
They're not in Florida. They had Ray Lewis. They had Ed Reed, Willis McGahee. They had a lot of Florida people on the team that I liked a lot. My mom was also a fan as well growing up. So, I kind of just gravitated towards them a lot, just off her as well. So,
who do you think your game right now mimics in the league?
I try to mimic the most. I say who it mimics the most right now in the league, or who I try to, is more of a Kyle Hamilton or Derwin James. Kind of more of a bigger safety role, who can kind of show versatility in terms of being closer to the ball and also being in the post as well. So I say those two probably right now. Okay.
For your NFL combine, congratulations, you did stellar. I know you went viral. I was like, oh, okay, you showed out. You wasn't playing.
Appreciate it.
They compared you to oh, they didn't compare you. I know those are comparisons, but you had a great day on the combine with 4.5 on the 40 dash. What was you thinking about when you was running? I gotta move.
Nah, it was more so because, for us, I don't know if a lot of people know or not. So when we run the 40, our first time our go around, if y'all watching on the TV, our time will pop up like when we run our first one. For us, if we're running, like, it'll show our run like the same thing as y'all's, but it don't show our time for the first run that we do. So it's like when we look up at the screen, we don't know what we ran for the first one. So it's like, you just pretty much got to walk off and, go check your phone. Your agent's probably calling you, let you know what you ran, stuff like that. So I ran my first one. I didn't know what I ran. It felt smooth, but I didn't know if it was what I wanted. So I just started walking back, and I met up with Ennis actually, and he was able to tell me my time. So it was actually the 4.50. So when I heard it, I was like, all right, but that's not what I was aiming for at all. So I was kind of disappointed with it, but I was like, okay, I got another chance to do so, trying to get my time faster, stuff like that. So went up to the second one. So the second one is the one you're able to see. So I ran my second one, and I ran a little slower than I did my first one. So the tough thing about that is when you run it, it's a cameraman right there. Like when you start turning around, so like the camera, when you see us walking, the guy's literally right there. He's really that close to you. So it's like you can't really show no emotional reaction if you want. So I kind of just had to like walk through and kind of ignore him to kind of just keep my face straight, like a level headed and stuff, even though I wasn't really content with neither one of my times. But it was just a blessing to really be there in general, though.
Yeah. What time were you going for?
I was going for the 4.4s. So.
That was still fast.
Yeah, that's what I kind of had to understand at the end of the day. But I'm my hardest critic.
Right.
So it's like, if I know I can run faster, it's like, then I know I didn't produce it to a certain extent. It's like, I'm not really going to be content with it as much. But, it was something that I realized, like, like talking to certain people, certain teams, stuff like that. It was more so like, that's impressive for somebody at my size, stuff like that. So I just kind of took that and just kind of overcame, some of the mental stuff that I had going on with my time and stuff like that. So it was like, I got to look at that more as a blessing, because it's like, in terms of what I ran, it was going to be impressive regardless to them, because it's like my size wouldn't really show that I would move that fast. So I just kind of took it as a positive way instead.
How was your overall experience at the Combine?
It was a blessing, man.
It was in Indianapolis, correct?
Yeah, it was in Indianapolis. So it was a blessing to be there, really. It was one of those things, you dream about as a kid, you know what I mean? But it's like, for me as a kid, it was like, I want to play in the NFL, but it didn't really hit me until like I was kind of like in high school, like I can really make this happen once I got my first offer. So it was like just being there, kind of like just really experiencing, but it all didn't really hit me until I was done with the Combine. So like when we broke it down for the last drill and we were done and I was grabbing my stuff off the field, I kind of like looked around, and that's when I kind of realized like I just went through this. Like it was like, I just went through everything that I wanted to go through as a kid. So just seeing all that, it put a smile on my face afterwards, because it was just like a lot of people don't get to do this, you know what I mean? Like it's a small percentage, it's a real small percentage of people who really get to live that out, like who get invited to that. And just being one of the people that was selected to do so, especially with my teammates as well, you know what I mean? It was like 8 or 9 of us who was able to be there and represent Mizzou the way we could. But it was a blessing, man. Like it was just, like making my family proud. My pops was able to be there and watch it, seeing him smile. My mom calling me, telling me she's proud of me, stuff like that, my siblings and all that. So it was just a great time overall, man.
Yeah, how was it with having your teammates? Because it was like the first time Mizzou has had like multiple people in a couple of years. Because last year we had like one person, I think, and then before that one. But like this year Mizzou was there.
We were there for real, man. Like we were all there. That was a fun time. We were hanging out with each other outside of like certain interviews and stuff like that, man. We meeting up with each other. It was a great time, man. Just seeing everybody, and then everybody kind of walking up to, like, hey, man, Mizzou, man, y'all was different this year, like talking with certain teams and stuff like that, seeing a lot of jits from different teams, like, it was, just seeing them, and then they telling us, how good we was and stuff like that, but we knew who we were, before the season started, but, just getting that acknowledgement and just getting all that confirmation from different people, it just kind of puts a smile on your face, then all the guys being here as well, just showing that we actually did have a lot of great players on this team, and we still do. So, just being there representing with more than 5+ people, that's just a great thing. I feel like for any team in general, but especially for us, because like you said, we haven't had multiple people like that there in a lot of years. So just being there, showing everybody that Mizzou's back is just a great feeling.
Yeah, how does it feel to leave Mizzou knowing that you left top? Like you left them on the top, but then you went through through the bottom when Mizzou was garbage.
Hey, don't do too much.
Y'all was garbage.
Don't do too much on my team though. Like it's
okay. You're not garbage anymore. Like y'all are good.
Don't do that.
So how does it feel to see like getting treated differently? I know you're getting treated differently. Like y'all was always getting treated like football players, but now you're like winning football players. That's a whole different type of.
It's So getting here in 2020, especially the COVID year as well, it was for us, especially for the freshmen. For everybody, it was like it was a tough time to go through. But like freshmen and us in general, that was our freshman year. So it's like we didn't experience the true freshman year like what a regular college person would. So just moving to everything, being online, schools, classes, having to only email your teachers. You can't talk to them in person. And then it's like football workouts. Like when we first got there, we all couldn't work out together. We had to be in certain different pods. All the freshmen could only work with the freshmen. It was weird, but it was like we looked at it as a normal to a certain extent because it was like that's what we had to go through for our freshman year. So we got used to it.
That's crazy.
We thinking that's how college is gonna be because it's like that's how our freshman year was. Like that's what we got adjusted to. So it's like moving into our sophomore year. That's when we kind of saw how campus really is, like how college really is, how campus experience really is, and stuff like that. So we didn't really get to experience that our freshman year. So we kind of saw it more as a sophomore in terms of what we kind of missed out on our freshman year. But from a football aspect, it was rough. You know what I mean? Like we went 500 all three of my first years here. You know what I mean? Playing all SEC games my freshman year. COVID, starting out with Alabama to start off as a 17, 18-year-old. You seeing all those guys that's in the league now. That was an eye-opening experience. Then heading into sophomore year, same thing, just going 500. Those 2 years I say were the ones where it was just like a gray area for us. Like we didn't know what we were doing. Like we didn't kind of know like what we were looking for as a team. Like we didn't know what the problem was. We didn't know what the issue was. But I say my junior year, even our record really didn't reflect who we was then. Because it was like if you look at our games, my junior year in 2022. All the games that we lost, like those SEC games and stuff, we lost by 10 or less. Like we were losing by one drive points and stuff like that. So it was like we knew talent-wise we were there. We didn't realize what we were missing. So I felt like that was another the reason why a lot of us came back for my senior year, and then a lot of us who also decided to come back besides me. 'Cause we were like, bro, like we can't leave this like the way it is. Like we got to find this point that we need to talk to everybody. We need to get everybody on the same page, communication, mentality, all this stuff, build camaraderie between our team. And once we do that, I feel like we'll be straight. So like, that was another part of why everybody came back. Everybody, we were all texting each other, man, what you think about doing, what you want to do, da-da-da. A lot of guys were still up in the air. Some guys made a decision to come back already. So, once one guy did it, just kind of rolled everybody back into doing it. So it was like, you know what, man, if we're going to do this, though, like, we got to make something happen this year. Like, we can't just come back and do the same thing because that just looked horrible. Like, that looked trash on us, on our part, as seniors, as older guys on this team. So when we all came back, we were like, you know what, bro, like, we just got to get everybody on the same page. Everybody get on the same page, I promise you, cuz everything will go better. Everything will be smooth here. So we had our talks with everybody. Everybody kind of got their little point across. People talked who needed to talk. Captain stepped up, led, and stuff like that. And as we got through spring ball, we had our transfers come in as well, who played huge parts in our game as well. But I feel like really it was kind of like, for me, I felt like it kind of opened me up during our summer workouts heading into my senior year. Because summer workouts, for a lot of athletes, everybody, like summer workouts for us in football is one of the roughest times ever in terms of workouts experience that you can go through. So you just out there in the sun all day in the morning, just doing certain workouts, man, you just out there, you be ready to just give up sometimes, man. But I feel like that's why I realized we was going to be good this year, because there was a lot of guys who just kind of kept everybody head up throughout the workouts. Nobody was trying to walk off. Nobody was bent over on the knees, stuff like that. So it was like, in terms of just seeing everybody kind of strong on their own, just everybody encouraging everybody and not a lot of arguing going on, I feel like that's when I realized, like, we're going to be good this year. Everybody getting it together. Everybody going to be straight. Everybody on the same page. So that's what I felt like really led us to this 11-2 season that we had.
That's crazy. Because I'm really thinking about, like, y'all in the past, and it's just like, y'all really, like, came together. Yeah. It's like a great story. Yeah. So you're supposed to be graduating this upcoming May, right?
We're supposed to be, but ran into some difficulties in terms of my internship. Supposed to be happening this spring. Me and a couple other people. I ran into some problems to where we weren't able to complete our internships to be able to graduate this spring. But I will be graduating instead in the fall coming up. But one thing I will say about that, to younger athletes, to young people in school, especially student athletes, in terms of getting your classes done, and then if you have internships, because I'm a sport management major, so I have an internship to complete at the end of my college career. I'll say to a lot of younger guys, make sure you communicate with who you need to communicate to, and make sure everything that's being said is actually going to be ran through the way it's supposed to be. And also just making sure that everything that's being said is going to get put in place to where it's going to be completed. Just make sure you stay on top of just making sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of helping you out. Because at the end of the day, it's about your graduation. It's your degree that you're getting, you know what I mean? So the work that you put in, make sure that you got the right people in place to make sure that they can get everything involved and set up for you the way that it needs to. I would say for the most part, I did have it that way. Just some minor things that happened with certain people and certain things, so I wasn't able to get to the end of the road for this spring semester, but I will get to the end of the road in the fall. So yeah, that was this little rough little spot right there though.
Well, I pray that you get it. You will get
I
it
appreciate
eventually.
that. So
And just to wrap it up, you're about to face a whole different type of life come next month. Are you ready for that? Like, I'm like, seriously, are you ready for that? Like, the amount of difference that's going to be happening to you, like, you're gonna be so much more visible. There's gonna be girls all over the world. Everyone's just gonna be coming at you. Like, how are you gonna be able to face that attention and distractions?
I said nah, for sure distractions, but I say it's just more of a mindset thing that you need to have. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's like you made it to the point that you wanted to make it to, but now it's about staying where you want to be. So I say in terms of that, with the distractions and mental blocks that may come into your life, just make sure you have a pivotal point where you just really focus on what you need to focus on, and just make sure you have your goals and your career things set up to where it's like you ain't got nothing to really knock you off of your pivot in certain ways. So in terms of me, I feel like I'm excited. It might not seem that way just the way I'm acting, but nah, I'm real excited though, for real, for sure, because this is a stepping stone to where I want to be in life. So it's something I would say, just keep going, just keep pushing positive. But for me especially, I just say just stay focused. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be stuff that comes and goes. It's gonna be stuff that happens down the road. But like I said, these guys are paying you millions of dollars to really help them or help you really just set your family up, and then also for them to help build their industry up. You know what I mean? So it's a teamwork thing at the end of the day. But NFL also stands for not for long. So it's like in terms of really just being in the league, you know what I mean? Like, the average is around 3 to 4 years. So it's like really just trying to make sure that you make it through those 3 to 4 years. But I kind of try to keep that out of my focus, because I feel like if I stress on that for too long, it kind of mess up what I got going right now. So I just kind of focus on the right now moment. So like you said, in this next month, my life really going to be changing in a certain way, in a drastic way. But, with God just being on my side, everything can happen. Everything's going to be possible to happen. So just having him beside me, having my support system with me, my family, close friends and stuff like that, I feel like I'm in a great spot to really just improve and just be a better man in this world.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, JC, for joining us. I'm so excited to see where you will end off, and I pray it's nowhere cold, because you just can't handle that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to F It Up.
Appreciate y'all for having me.